Hello once again. It is Good Friday. So Good Friday to you. So since it's Good Friday, I figured it would be the best time to talk about the crucifixion and what happened and why it's important. Once again, that's the whole purpose of this series, to kind of ask, why does it matter? So first of all, the crucifixion. It was a horrible, horrible death. It was so bad, in fact, that the word excruciating comes from the word crucifixion. When you were on the cross, your shoulders would dislocate because of the weight of your own body. You would suffocate unless you used a tiny little ledge right below your feet. You could only use that for so long before your body got tired and you'd have to get down, and then you'd start suffocating again. Normally, people would be on the cross for days before they died. Jesus died in 3 hours. You have to remember, Jesus was savagely beaten before this, within an inch of his life, so it didn't take much for him to die on the cross. Speaking of Jesus on the cross, when he was there, he was mocked. He was given sour wine mixed with gall, which, if you don't know, that's what's in your gallbladder. Disgusting. And at the end of his life, he says something that every time I read it, it gives me chills. John 19:30 says, "When Jesus had received the wine, he said, 'It is finished.' Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit." So what does this mean? Jesus is saying a few things. First, he's saying that his work on earth is finished. His ministry that he did to the world is now done. Up until the point where he was on the cross, he was still being a minister to the thieves. And at that moment, he's saying, "I'm done." However, when he ended his earthly ministry, he started something new. That something new started at his death. The redemption of man. And when he died, something amazing happened. When he died, the curtain inside the temple was split in two from top to bottom. That's really important. This curtain isn't just like some type of like decorative curtain. No, it separated the innermost room of the temple where God was said to reside. Only special priests could go in there, and even sometimes they wouldn't be able to handle it. They would sometimes die in this room, and people couldn't go in and get them, so they had to have a rope tied to their waist so they could be pulled out if they died. This was a powerful room, and this curtain was no small shower curtain. This was thick, dense material, something that you probably couldn't rip with your bare hands, and something I would assume a regular earthquake, like it says in the Gospels, wouldn't be able to rip. So this was some serious stuff that happened here. Hey guys, I'm editing the video and I'm talking about the curtain. I did a little bit more research because I was really curious as to how thick this was. Turns out the temple curtain was right around 9 centimeters thick, which is about as thick as your hand. So imagine ripping something made of fabric that thick. That's what it was like. Redonkulous. So why did this happen? Is this just some coincidence? Was it just something that the writers of the gospel decided to put in? Far from that. The need for a curtain like this was made null and void. We were separated from God at the original sin, but when Jesus died, that curtain, that separation was split in two, and we were given a way to speak to God directly. Jesus used his own body as a temple and destroyed it, just like Mark 13:2 says, "Do you see these great buildings? Not one stone will be left here upon another. All will be thrown down." He's talking about the actual temple, the actual curtain that split, and also himself, because he was thrown down. So once again, I ask, what does this mean? Jesus is the temple. He's the bridge between man and God. The reason he died, another reason he died, was so that we could have a connection with God. When Jesus died, he set that captive free. Us, we are the captives, free from the separation of God through sin, and connected us through Christ. So here we see another reason Jesus was crucified. Jesus, through his own destruction and the destruction of the temple, created the actual connection between God and man. Sin is us separating ourselves from God. Whenever we sin, that's what we do. We turn our face from God. Jesus basically made a bridge so we don't have to do that anymore, and almost we can't. Even if we sin, God is constantly right there with us, and that's because of Jesus. Jesus destroyed that disconnect that we had since the Garden of Eden through the breaking of his body and the splitting of the curtain. So that's all I have for today. Shorter video, I know, but since it's Good Friday, I figured I'd let you all think about stuff, because it's an important day for that. So if you liked it, if you have something to say, leave a comment down below and start a conversation. And I will see you all in the next video.